pasión, de pasión.
Cuba has a population of a little over 11 million people, with 2 million of those living in Havana. It is primarily a Spanish-speaking country. The average monthly salary is about $30 US, but Cuba does provide free education and free healthcare. Now I know some of you may be asking why Cuba. Out of all the places that I could have went to, why did I choose Cuba? And the reason I would tell you is that practically everyone that I've spoken with who's traveled the world has always told me that Cuba was one of their most favorite places. And I can admit and agree that Cuba did not fail to disappoint. Cuba is now at the top of my list as my most favorite destination. So this is all a part of that vintage car tour. He asked me if I wanted to have breakfast, and this is the place that he took me to. He stayed outside and waited while I had the breakfast. I went in there, it was pretty empty. I felt like I was the only one in there. But basically I went to order. As you can see, I had the menu. I had no idea what any of this stuff was. Plus I can't read Spanish. So I just asked if I could have an egg and like some bread or something. And they ended up asking me if I wanted an omelet, like with some egg and cheese, and I said yeah. And so that's what I ended up getting, because like I said, reading that menu, I had no clue what it was that I was getting, and I encountered that a lot in Cuba. Alright, so this part here, nothing special. I'm just leaving a restaurant that he just took me to. Walking back to the car, like I said, he waited out in the car for me while I had breakfast. One thing about Cuba, y'all, it is extremely hot. It's unbearably hot there. I sweated out of orifices that I never even knew I had while I was there. Mandatory 2 showers a day. It's good. It's hot in Cuba.
Yeah.
Thank you. Needed that.
I want to show you the places where you can enjoy at night. So like some kind of bars in Cuba.
Okay.
In Havana here, it's like a nice lineup in front of the ocean with a lot of restaurants and cafeterias and like something like clubs at night.
Okay.
It's mostly a place where you can share with the Cuban guys, Cuban people.
Okay.
Because it's not just tourists.
Alright, the next part of the tour took me to the Havana Forest. This is just an area in Cuba that's surrounded by forests, has a lot of little different areas and things going on here. Took me to this little bar here and gave me a free mojito. One of the things in Cuba that they do, as you can see, they also give you the bottle of rum. So you can top it off if you want to, or add more in if you want to after the fact. For me, that mojito was strong as hell, and I didn't want any more rum after that. So I just drank what I had, and after that, I was ready to go. There was no way I was pouring any more rum into that drink. Spain ruled over Cuba until 1898, when it was defeated by the United States and Cuban forces in the Spanish-American War. Cuba soon gained formal independence, though it remained overshadowed by the nearby United States. On New Year's Day 1959, revolutionary forces led by Fidel Castro overthrew the government. 2 years later, Castro proclaimed the Marxist-Leninist nature of the revolution. Cuba became economically isolated from its northern neighbor as it developed close links to the Soviet Union. However, the collapse of the Soviet Union in the early 1990s isolated Cuba still further, bringing on what Cubans call the special period, a time of widespread shortages and financial uncertainty. By the early 21st century, Cuba had loosened some of its more restrictive economic and social policies, but the United States continued its decades-long economic embargo against the Castro regime. Though in December 2014, the resumption of diplomatic relations between the two countries held promise of the embargo's removal. Cuba is situated just south of the Tropic of Cancer, at the intersection of the Atlantic Ocean, the Gulf of Mexico, and the Caribbean Sea. Haiti, the nearest neighboring country, is 48 miles to the east across the Windward Passage. Jamaica is 87 miles to the south. The Bahamas archipelago extends within 50 miles of the northern coast, and the United States is about 90 miles to the north across the Straits of Florida. I know some of you may be wondering what is the process for entering Cuba. To go to Cuba, you do need a visa, and when you purchase your airline ticket, most of the websites, Delta, American, United, etc., they'll have a link for you to go to so that you can purchase the visa. I caught Delta, and that's how I got mine. It was $85 plus $25 shipping and handling for a total of $110. If you don't want to get it in advance, you can wait to the day of and get it at the airport. For example, like once you arrive in Miami, you can purchase it then. But I like to play it safe, and being on the safe side, I like to pay for it in advance, and I would advise that you do the same. The next step is you need to give a reason for why you're going to Cuba. There's about 12 categories. Most U.S. citizens would be selecting the support for the Cuban people. Some of the other stipulations is you cannot shop at or stay at any government-owned restaurants or hotels. These are requirements of the U.S. government. And another thing is you have to keep like your itinerary or proof of all the things that you did in Cuba for 5 years after you visit, because the U.S. government can ask for this information at any time. Next up is Revolution Square. The square is notable as being where many political rallies take place, and Fidel Castro and other political figures address Cubans. Fidel Castro addressed more than 1 million Cubans on many important occasions, such as May 1st and July 26th of each year. Pope John Paul II, during his 1998 first visit by a pope, and Pope Francis in 2015, held large masses there during papal visits to Cuba. The square is dominated by the Jose Marti Memorial, which features a 358-foot tall tower and a 59-foot statue. The National Library, many government ministries, and other buildings are located in and around the plaza. Located behind the memorial is the Palace of the Revolution, the seat of the Cuban government and the Communist Party. Opposite the memorial are the offices and ministries of the Interior Communications, whose facade features matching stone memorials of the two most important deceased heroes of the Cuban Revolution, Che, with the notation, "Ever onward to victory," and Camilo, sometimes mistaken for Fidel, with the quotation, "You're doing fine, Fidel." It is also the site of several cultural institutions. Now this part here was the highlight of the tour. What better way to be in Cuba than to be in a vintage car just sitting there chilling in the seat while you're taking some pictures in Revolution Square. Now, one of the unfortunate things that happened to me during my stay in Cuba is as soon as I arrived at the airport, I was immediately detained and I was interrogated for 3 hours because of the camera things that I had in my book bag. Now, as all of you know, I do this YouTube channel, so I carry a lot of little different action cameras and things, for the trips to create the content. They had dogs sniffing my bags twice. They put my bags through the x-ray 3 times. They even did a manual search twice. They set me down with 2 people and questioned me for an hour. Then next thing you know, there was about 4 more people, so a total of 6 people surrounded me at the table. And at one point, there was literally 10 people all surrounding me around the table. And I'm not even exaggerating. I literally counted them. There was about 10 of them. And they were speaking in Spanish. One person knew fluent English. He was talking to me. But this went on for 3 hours, and I was very upset. And I ended up losing my temper. And it took for me to lose my temper for them to finally let me go. That almost made me want to go back home immediately, but I'm glad that I ended up staying. Alright, so this is the Airbnb in Cuba. It may not look like much to y'all, and in some ways, I mean, I guess it could be better. However, looks can be deceiving sometimes. So we're coming out here now. I'm not gonna show you that part yet. Okay. But here, this is the kitchen. Not much to it, right? But now, this is the best part. You see all these windows out here? This is the Malecon down below where people go, Cubans go to sit at night. A lot of them don't want to pay for drinks and stuff at bars because they only make about $30 a month. So as you can see, all these windows in this Airbnb. Just tons of them. This is the apartment, y'all. This ain't the lobby. This ain't the hallway. This is the actual apartment. You see all these windows, and you can see it's looking out, going out the window. Look at that. That's the view from my window. The windows just go down the whole entire stretch, leading from the bedroom to the living room. And now you can see why I chose this Airbnb, because this view is just incredible, especially at night as well. And this is just more of the hallway. So the actual Airbnb isn't that great, but this view just can't be beat. Alright, so how you play this game?
Hello guys, we are here in Cuba and we are playing Cuban Domino. It's a Cuban game, the most popular Cuban game in Cuba. So all the old people, all the younger people during the day you can see in the streets playing dominoes, and it's very popular. It's like a sport, it's like a religion in Cuba, the dominoes game. Am I speaking very well? Or?
Yeah, you're great. And what kind of rum is this? Cuban,
okay,
right?
This is Cuban rum and it's Havana Club. So we're going to take 10 pieces. This is the bottle.
Okay.
It's very popular.
Alright, so are you doing that cheap because I'm new? Sitting for 7 years?
Yes, it's 7 years. Yes. Yes, it's very good rum. It's very good rum. It's Havana Club 7 years.
How much does like a bottle of that cost here?
What?
How much does a bottle of that cost?
This bottle is like $20.
Okay.
In few minutes we go to smoke a Cuban cigar, and there is no moment more Cuban than this one. Dominoes, rum, and cigar. $20 in the market. There is no moment more in Cuban the clubs than this one. Yes. If you want to go to the club, $40-50. Okay, those I don't want to see. Right now we go to take another one random for see who start. The biggest number, I have 10.
You.
6. Me. Okay, this is 9. Right now you need looking for 9 points. This one and put.
So I'm gonna get 9 on it.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Can I put it on either side?
Okay, this is double, and right now he need put 5 or 9 only in the heads, only in the strength. You know.
Okay.
Right now I need put 8 or 5.
Okay.
I see my numbers and I say, okay, I think that, and I have another double. The double we don't put in this way. We put in this way doubles. And
So,
you can play 8 or 9.
Is that right?
You can play for here, only index.
Oh.
No. Yeah,
Okay.
it's okay. So who win in domino? In domino win in the end of the game.
The person who ain't got none of these.
The person that have less points. When there is there is a moment that we don't have more numbers. Say we don't have more A and 0. Say okay, we don't have. How many pieces you have? We count the points. The person have less point is the winner. Or if I put the last pieces in the table.
Okay.
You understand a little bit? Yeah.
I think so.
No, it's your turn. There is 3. There is 3 options for make a hole to the Cuban cigar. One is this one. I like this one because make a small hole. Another one is with the cutter like guillotina and make a big hole. And with this, when you smoke, something in your mouth of the cigar can be inside of your mouth, you know.
That's what I heard about the cheap ones that
Yes.
you get some stuff.
With
like.
this, no, with this is very good because
Okay.
the hole is a little hole. And
does that like help get the smoke out of it, or?
yes, it's very good. It's very good with this option. Or this is the second option. It's the most classic option to cut
Okay.
only, you know, this.
Y desperdicia tabaco.
Okay, and he said that you desperdiciar is like you are cutting part of the cigar, you know? No. With this, no. With
Que
this,
con el huequito, mira, nada más.
with the hole, you.
A ver, con el huequito solo sacas una tapita y ya. ¿Ves? Eso es lo que sale. Chácata.
Yeah, you know. He said that it's better.
Y no se te pega, no se te queda eso en la boca.
Let's try to. It's about adaptation, I can say. It's about if you adapt to this way or this way.
Everybody got their personal favorite for how they like to.
What?
Everybody got their favorite for how they like to smoke it, like rather cutting the tip or.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I have a friend that he's very good at smoke that he cut with the teeth, you know?
Okay. Is this the lighter?
And this is a lighter.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's very easy.
Very good cigar.
Very good.
Ah, yeah.
Okay.
Coibas robustos.
We do this.
Gustos?
Robusto.
And
What's
we
the name the cigar? Coiba robusto.
Okay.
the brand.
Oh damn. I'm gonna start. I can tell already. I'm gonna start coughing.
Very easy. No inhale. No inhale. Only you put in the mouth, mira.
So are you just like
Yes.
puffing it out, or
Yes. Only
so no inhale, just
no inhale. Only in the mouth. No inhale.
okay.
You understand? And yes, it's your turn. I can record
Oh
for you.
shit. Okay. Oh god.
Come on. Okay. Ken.
I gotta
El emotion. No, clap.
down.
Down. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yay.
Simple.
Good. How I can stop the
It's
video?
alright. Ya está encendido, que lo que va a quemar todo el tabaco.
Yeah, it's okay.
La candela. Drink.
Oh, you gotta hit that one now. It's recording. Yeah, watch the expert.
Okay. Yeah.
Vamos a ver, Samuel.
You make it look so easy.
Wow. Rico el tabaco cubano.
Eché un baño rápido.
No, no te creo.
Un bañito, me siento. I take a shower very fast.
Tú no te lavaste, ese fue un baño turco.
Baño turquillo ahí.
Alright, I think maybe I might have it now. It's gonna go easier. Alright, so explain like the situation with the U.S. government and the Cuban people, because like the reason I ask this is because a lot of times we don't have nothing to do with what our governments do. I don't have no control what the U.S. government does. You don't have no control what the Cuban government does. So, like, explain to me what the situation is as far as, like, the sanctions or embargo and everything else like that. Like, how does it affect y'all on day-to-day processes in life and stuff compared to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand the whole Cuban situation. Like,
It's
y'all
politics. It's very politic, and it's history. It's about history and politics. So it's true that United States have a big sanction with Cuba. Every year, the United Nations join to say and to vote for the embargo, and all the world vote against to the embargo. You know, when the United Nations, all the countries in the world say, "Come on, US, don't put the embargo for Cuba." When all the world vote against to that, it's because it's a little no fair, no is honest, no is honest. You know, it's not fair that the big country in the world sanction a small country in the Caribbean that is friendly people, mojitos and hospitality and good people, you know. So because the sanctions is politic, but politicians in Cuba live well. They have good cars, good houses, they have power plant in their country, they have food, but Cuban people they don't have. They have good electricity, they have everything. So the problem is that long time, 60 years ago, and that is about, it's a politic. The base of that politic is 60 years ago.
That's what makes me mad.
Yeah,
like, this is
so
back in
right
the
now
past.
we are living the third generation. So the third generation is still living with that philosophy that why still the embargo between Cuba and US, you know? Or why you, like US, you can bring a Cuban cigar. Okay, a cigar is just
so
for a smoke.
stupid,
Why
man,
you
like-
can bring a bottle rum? Okay, Bacardi, yes. No, Havana Club, no. Havana Club is from Cuba. So a cigar from Nicaragua or from República Dominicana, yes, but no, Cuban cigar, no. So it's a stupid laws. But behind that, there is a politics, there is a lot of money, there is a lot of interest, politicians, and it's history, you know, it's history.
So
But
now, wait, so with that being said, how does, like, well, what the U.S. is doing, how does that affect? It creates opportunities for, like, Russia to come in, China to come in. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, the United States isn't being involved or turning their back on y'all. So, like, how does that create opportunities for, like, Russia or China to get involved? Excuse me.
so again, repeat the
What I'm
question.
saying is, like, by the U.S. doing what they're doing, it creates opportunities for, like, Russia and China to get involved.
Okay, it's true. But yes, it's very. But in the last year when in Obama times was the best year for Cuban. You know, Obama opened the relation with Cuba, and in that moment, Airbnb come to Cuba. Right now, you can stay in hotel government. Right now, you are supporting Cuban people, staying in a house for rent, and you are American and you are here. So Obama opened that opportunity for 12 categories. So the most popular category for Americans travel to Cuba is support the Cuban people. So when you stay in Airbnb, when you pay Airbnb experience,
Yep.
you are giving my money to me, and that is a small change that you think that is small, but it's very big change that right now you are here with me. You know, you are American citizen and a Cuban citizen, and we are here enjoying the nightlife in Havana because you pay my tour and you are supporting my economy right now. You know, and we are hang out for nightlife and we are doing tour bars. We go to drink in tours. So that is the change for me. That is the change, and for me that is the future. You know. For me, that is a future. So I no control politics. I no control the laws that people that have more power than me control that. But for the moment, Americans can stay in Airbnb, can support the Cuban people, and for me, they can go to private restaurant, private bars, and that is a good way for support the local economy. You know, I don't know if and I don't know if I answered your question. But
No, you're fine. No, because, like, I know when I was trying to come here and, like, researching things, like, I was getting frustrated because it's like there's so many stipulations. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have to select the bullshit support of the Cuban people. You can't say that you're coming here for tourism. And
Yeah.
The United States government, you have to keep a copy of
Yes.
all your government.
Always I say that is a bureaucracy. Bureaucracy? You can say that?
Bureaucracy, yeah.
Bureaucracy. And they find legal ways in the system for tourists. So because support as Cuban people is a sentences. It's a sentence. Support the Cuban people. But it's tourists. You are drinking mojitos. It's tourists.
It's a play on words.
Yes, it's play on words. It's illegal ways. But you are here for tourist reason. You are okay. Every tourism support local economy. You know? Okay. It's true that you support exactly part of the people. You know, local people, not government. Because in Cuba, it's very sad that the 80% of the business or companies are government. You know, hotel. We are talking about hotels, restaurant. Yes, all the hospitality industry is government. So, but Airbnb, private restaurant, private bars is a good opportunity for travelers and support the economy. But it's true that you say, why you don't say tourists directly and don't say you can go for support the Cuban people? It's stupid. It's bureaucracy.
It's so stupid, man.
It's so
It's
stupid.
like, come on, man. I know what it is. You know what it is. But we got to play this little game.
Play the little game, man. Yes, and we are here. Two guys from America and US enjoying Havana. Yes. Picture to the club. So this club that we went right now, the owner of this place is the grandson of Fidel Castro. Grandson of Fidel Castro is a young, very rich in Cuba. So the Communist Party in Cuba hate him because he have a life that is not represent the life that every Cuban need have. So every time that he show the cars or the hotels or the good life that he have in social network, Communist Party, that is the government that control Cuba, punish him, say don't do it, don't show in social network your life. So he's the grandson of Fidel Castro, the owner of the bar in Cuba. But I am no my grandson, my grandpa no is Fidel Castro, so I don't have a bar.
Buena Vista Social Club. He will dance and sing along with original artists of the Good Social View Club, Cabaret Tropicana, Afro Cuban All-Stars, Cabaret Parisan, and many other famous musical groups. He will relive the Havana evenings of the 1950s by sharing scenarios with authentic cultural heroes, survivors of an unprecedented time, those who built the history of Cuban traditional music with their art, those who made the history of son, la salsa, and cha-cha-cha. Our artists are great musicians and singers surviving a golden age and deserving of many awards and recognition. Among those most outstanding are 7 Grammy Awards, 14 Grammy nominations, and 4 Latin Grammy Awards. The Malecon is a broad roadway and seawall that stretches for 5 miles along the coast in Havana, Cuba. New businesses are appearing due to the economic reforms in Cuba that now allow Cubans to own private business. Construction of the Malecon began in 1901 during temporary U.S. military rule. The main purpose of the building the Malecon was to protect Havana from the sea. To celebrate the construction of the first 500 section of the Malecon, the American government built a roundabout at the intersection of Paso del Prado. According to the architects of the period, it was the first roundabout in Cuba to be constructed with steel reinforced concrete. Bands played Cuban melodies there every Sunday. The Miramar Hotel was built in front of the roundabout. It was the first hotel in Cuba where the waiters wore tuxedos, dinner jackets, and vests, waistcoats with gold buttons. It was very fashionable for the first 15 years of independence. Subsequent Cuban governments continued the extension of the first section of the Malecon. Well, folks, that is another episode in the bag. In the next episode, we leave the safety and confines of Havana, Cuba, and go to Varadero, to the beach, and then we also take another day trip to Vinales, home of where they make the famous tobacco for the Cuban cigars. We also have a few surprises in store, such as we visit 2 separate caves, one of which we take a boat inside of the cave. Stay tuned to the next episode coming soon. In the meantime, as always, like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you on the other side. Peace.